Let's welcome on board Manpreet Singh Badal, the Finance Minister of the state of Punjab. Mr. Badal, good to have you on the show. The new Finance Minister, Sitharaman, will be holding her first GST meeting now. The collections, as you know, in the last 3 months have been robust, over 1 lakh crore rupees. But the imminent slowdown in various sectors has become a concern. And you yourself have written about it to the centre. How big a concern is it, and how do you think the GST Council can look to address it?
Well, I'm not sure whether this 1 lakh crore is a substantial collection, because it's still way below what was expected. And if I can remind you and your listeners that the GST has still not put a smile on the people of India. And I was hoping that since there's a new government and with a huge majority, the agenda is going to be substantial, but at the moment it's just a very routine kind of a meeting with a very small agenda. So I guess at the meeting, and the suggestion from Punjab would be that if we could take a holistic look and try and bring about some major changes in the GST laws, remove impediments to small and medium industry. There are concerns about a trade war between China and America. How do we, help our own industry to actually become stronger, and so on and so forth. So I hope that some kind of a white paper, it should not be, in bits and drabs, but a kind of a white paper, if Government of India can bring about what the Congress was talking about, a GST 2. And because this whole concept of whether it's make in India or whether India is going to move ahead, what Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister, was talking about, a $5 trillion economy, in a way, everything hinges substantially on how we are able to work out a GST.
Right. You're talking about a white paper that the council should bring out, Mr. Badal. But would this white paper look at items like auto and cement in the 28% slab? And so then can the rate cut in these items really spur growth? And is there really fiscal room for that?
Well, certainly this can spur economic activity. But again, I want to emphasize that rather than doing in bits and drabs, we need to take a holistic look at the rate structure. After all, it's been 2 years now. How long are you going to, we have made almost 4,000 changes in the GST law. This is unheard of in any GST regime anywhere in the world. So let us now, since there's a new government, they have a huge majority, I'm sure, they have a will to fix the economy and the tax structure of India. So let us now take everything together and have, a kind of a mini, like I said, GST 2 taking place. And let us look not just cement and automobile. I'm sure there are many, many other things which we need to look into, including, the network issues, filing, and so on and so forth.
So when you're saying holistic look in the rate structure and a GST 2.0, is merging of slabs something that we can look at in the near future? What changes can be expected in the filing of tax returns?
No, this is for the council and, the minister to decide what kind of an agenda, how much would they want to bite. But as far as, the Congress was concerned, even petroleum and alcohol and land and everything, electricity, they should all be subsumed. I mean, if we agree to the principle of one nation, one tax, then how come such large sectors of the economy should be outside the GST? So again, we are saying that we should, with an open mind, look at the GST which we've implemented in the last 2 years. Obviously, this is not the GST of our dreams, because we were told that once GST is implemented, tax collections would go up, exports would become competitive. We were told that filing would be very easy. But what we see actually is that we were also told that your GDP would increase by at least 2 percentage points. Nothing has happened. So obviously we need to put the screwdriver somewhere and try and see how do we, since we ushered in the GST at midnight in the Parliament Hall, but somehow we need to move forward. And as far as all the states are concerned, we are all on board in this, that India must progress willingly if possible, but kicking and screaming if required. So I don't see any conflict as such, but certainly a will, and I say that time, we don't have the luxury of time, if you look around the world situation and how things are developing between major economies, India can't be complacent on this.
Absolutely. Very well put, that the time is opportune and India shouldn't be complacent. Now, the GST Council has always taken unanimous decisions. How are opposition states looking to place these issues on slowdown in this meeting today?
Well, as far as the opposition states are concerned, and I'm sure we can, at least in the GST Council, if you would recall, every decision is taken by consensus, and we can have some kind of a charter on issues which every state would own up to. So whatever policies are decided, every state will own up to these policies, as long as there is a consensus on them. And we are all in consensus that India must move ahead. So I don't see any problem as far as long as the government is willing to implement the agenda.
Mr. Badal, anti-evasion measures are also a big area in this council. How is it that you're hoping new electronic invoices are going to help, plus the usage of RFID data for strengthening e-way bills?
Well, I think some of the, we are losing tax collection also because of poor drafting of some of the laws, which the tax authorities actually left wondering whether this comes within the ambit or not. So we need to just, after 2 years of experience of 28, 29 states and union territories, maybe a little bit more, we can all put in our experiences of intellect and experience and whatever, and we can come up with the right solutions. So it's not a difficult task if we apply ourselves to it. That's all.
Right. Many of the items out of the ambit, out of the GST ambit, that is, fuel, ATF, etc. When can we expect the GST Council to take up these items?
Well, that is for the Union FM to answer and the other states to answer. But as far as Punjab is concerned, and even the Congress states are concerned, we would love to see everything within the GST ambit.
So before I let you go, you did speak about rationalization of GST. What will be your solution to fix it?
Here, all I'm trying to say is that let's sit down together and fix it. You can't keep rationalizing for 2 years. Let's get it done with. After all, GST has been implemented in 160 countries. We were the 161st country. So, it's not rocket science that we can't achieve it. All we need to do is to sit down and try and fix it. It may take some time, but I think as long as we can keep an ear to the ground, have the shareholders or stakeholders on board and shed some of the arrogance which most governments have, we'll be able to achieve it. It's not, like I said, it's not rocket science. It can't be done. There's a lovely couplet in Urdu, and I'm sure a lot of your people don't even understand this language, which says, "Husne tadbir se jaag uthta hai qaumo ka naseeb." Husn is beautiful and tadbir is planning. Just with good planning, you can actually change the fate of nations. So, husne tadbir se jaag uthta hai qaumo ka naseeb. Kabhi badalti nahi takdeer armanon se. It's not by just wishing that, you can change the fate of nations. So if we can plan correctly, and I'm sure government has the experts, or we can hire the experts. As finance minister, I'm not supposed to know anything or everything. But as long as we are willing to listen, I think we can fix it.
Okay, just one last question. You're also going to have a pre-budget meet with Nirmala Sitharaman ahead of the GST meet today. So what are the big expectations from the upcoming budget? Let's get your take on that as well.
Well, because since it's going to be the first budget of the new government and the first budget of the new Union FM, I hope it can give a sense of direction to India's economy. Because the first budget will obviously give direction also to the next 4 budgets. So we're hoping for a budget which is well directed to the future of India, and budgets also concern about tax collection. At the same time, this is really going off a little bit of the tangent, but I hope that some money would be allocated for defense purchases. Since I come from Punjab, and Punjab is central to India's defense plans as well. What I have seen in the border areas of Punjab and even in the military, how the parity between India and Pakistan has been substantially reduced. I mean, even in terms of troop deployment, it is only 1 to 1.2. So, this incident which happened just before elections, India did not come out too good on that, and it kind of embarrassed us in sitting in Punjab that our aircraft were not good enough, our equipment is not good enough. So the sense of direction to the Indian economy, also something for defense, and finally when the Prime Minister talks about doubling of farmers' income, so something must be done. And if he's serious about it, and if the government is serious about it, some steps will have to be taken in terms of agriculture research, extension services, fertilizers, and so on and so forth. So if I would be expecting as a minister and as a leader in agriculture that some direction would be given to Indian agriculture as well. And finally, like I said, the MSME sector. If we can strengthen this sector, then this whole approach to creating jobs and make in India, but for this entire success of this budget, the GST Council must act with utmost wisdom and in the highest interest of the Indian state.
Right. Okay, Mr. Badal, great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out, and we'll hopefully chat again once the GST Council decides to do whatever they choose to do post the meeting.